Ladies and gentlemen, this Red Game Etc.com video, we're going to be taking a look at the technical preview of Windows 10. Aren't you excited? So I'm going to go into a little bit of a preface first. I'm running this on a virtual machine, a virtual box, just for your FYI. And as it turns out, I was going to make a how-to guide for this. It's fairly simple, but for those of you who still want a bit of information on that, I will be putting out a guide over the next day or two. It would have been today. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more involved. I actually did like a test install, which was supposed to be this, but as it turns out, I did realize that at the time, Microsoft actually want you to put in all your email account password and all of that, so it's just a bit of messing about, so it will require a bit more editing. Plus as well, I want to make it into an in-depth article on redgamingtech.com, so I'm a bit pushed for time. So we will be, however, taking a look at the general interface and changes in W10, just to get an idea. So just so that we're all aware, you can see that I do indeed have several hard drives, actually, as it turns out. But this is the VDI. So it's actually, you know, it's not that big, actually, to be fair, the actual image, which is the base install. So anyway, we're going to just click on this. So that's helpful. So it's already giving all my name and stuff, but I'm sure most of you knew that anyway. But whatever. So I figure the best option to do, or to go with, would be just to kind of check out the basic file structure first. I say that, but it's pretty much Windows. So you can see that you've got regular navigation and stuff like that. You've got, of course, the standard files. I've just installed, this is the standard installation. I haven't installed any applications, so I'm just going to show you how much space that's actually taken, which actually marries up well with the VDI. So just a smidgen, a hair, a jot under 10 gigs, which isn't too bad. I mean, you know, it's pretty much what you'd expect for an OS, a modern OS. Obviously, this may go up and down depending on what's installed, particularly if you happen to be buying it on like an Acer or whatever machine. And obviously, I'll point out that we can create like a new folder. I'll just, you know, mash the keys in a loving fashion, and we'll just kind of right-click and it'll show you what we can do. Pretty much all of the general gist you'd expect. There's nothing different here, so you can change, of course, the file permissions and so on. This is exactly like every Windows version ever. Alright, so I just want to show you that because I'm sure some people are going to ask me about it. I'm running, you might notice the top of the screen's cut off. That's just because I'm running on a 1080p screen, which is a little annoying. So if I want to go up and down, I have to kind of do that scrolly number, but that's just to do with the fact it's a virtual machine. It's nothing to do with the thing. So, going to click on Start Menu because I'm sure most of you are probably chomping at the bit to hear about that one. Yeah, I like it. It actually doesn't make me sad. I know it's freaking me out, right? It doesn't. That calendar is horribly wrong. I can only assume that that's because I'm running a VM. But whatever. It's only a day or 2 or 3 or 4 out. But regardless, pretty much what you'd expect as a start menu. It looks very much like the old type of start menus in, say, Vista, but looks a bit shinier. You've got access to cloud drives and stuff, which I've disabled, and you've got video options. Skype, of course, is automatically installed. Loads of emails, which I'm not going to click on, and Store. Microsoft Store does pop up automatically, and in fact, during the installation, it'll nudge you and say, "Hey, there's more products available on the store. Go ahead and check them out. You will love them." Honestly, nudge, 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 wink, wink, wink. It's, you know, whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Let's have a quick look at Paint. I feel that we must launch Paint. It looks pretty much what you'd expect, to be honest. Yes, great. So nothing particularly super duper exciting. You might notice, and it's probable. Actually, you know what? I do want to have a look at the personalized. Let's see what wallpapers and stuff we've got. Okay, so we're running default sounds and stuff. I don't know if you guys are going to actually hear any audio. We got some backgrounds. Let's have a look. So we got some kind of cool looking backgrounds. Yeah, yes, quite. I quite like that one. That's kind of cool. Actually, no, I much prefer the look of that one. You see, most of these are orientated towards widescreens and stuff, which is pretty much what you'd expect. And of course, you've got the regular fill, stretch, fit, blur modes, pretty much like every Windows. And obviously, you've got all the pre-programmed themes. I know this is a very basic video, but I'm just trying to show you what has and what hasn't changed. So we're going to look at system stuff. So of course you've got access to the firewalls, manage all the folders, add features to technical preview. We're going to click on that, and I want to buy products. I already have product keys, and that's obviously going to allow you to install things if you want it. I'm not going to go through that process. You can also manage storage spaces, BitLocker if you need to, power options, obviously that's incredibly important if you so need to. I'm going to click on system because I think a lot of people are going to want to see what this looks like. That's actually pretty inaccurate in terms of what I'm running. Process is fairly accurate. Processor speed's wrong, and the amount of memory, of course, is hideously wrong, but that's all to do with the fact that I'm running a VM. Quickly go into advanced system settings. Very similar. You've got remote options where you can, of course, do remote access, security options, basic system protection if you so desire. Advanced, same thing as pretty much every Windows version ever. You know, where you can choose how to allocate processor resources over programs or background resources and so on, which obviously depends on what type of environment you're running. You can rename your system. There's nothing different here. I think this has been pretty much the same in every version of Windows that I've used since, like, XP. 98 even had most of these settings. Device Manager, I don't remember. Yeah, I haven't clicked on that. Very similar. So, of course, this just lists all of the crap in your system, like monitors and all of the other bollocks that you'd expect. So, once again, nothing particularly new or shiny there. But yeah, pretty standard. So, what am I thinking so far? Well, I actually quite like some of the changes. There are some oddities, as it turns out. Primarily when the system loads, it's going to ask you to sign in. I don't know if this is because of a technical preview, and I'm a chimp, so I forgot to read more about this online, so I can only profusely apologise. But no, the screen hasn't frozen, I'm just literally not moving the mouse. I suppose I could do, and then we could just mouse through things, despite the fact that most of this is going to seem pretty familiar. Basically, it's going to ask you to sign in with an email address and a password. You could consider this a little bit like the Xbox One if you've got one. I don't really like that, as it turns out. I'll just be totally and utterly honest. Because, well, it kind of sucks. So, yeah. Let's see. Personalization, change the theme, change background, clocks, languages and region. All of this is exactly what you'd expect. Control panel home, programs, hardware, do. So yeah, not too bad. Alright, so let's try this first, because I know many of you are probably going to be wanting to see that. Apparently it's not actually going to load, which is interesting. I don't know if that's because... Oh, no, there we go. It's working. Alright, let's try typing in, even though it's right there, internet. Do we have internet? Yes, we do have internet. We've also got smart screen filter on for apps and so on. So I'll just click on this and launch IE, because everyone wants to see IE. Come on then, little fella. There we go. Apparently we've got murders going on. Alright, that's always good. Let's go to something slightly less offensive. Google.com. Pretty much all of the standard stuff you'd expect. Alright, so Internet Explorer, nothing exciting there. Let's face it, it's Internet Explorer. You know what? That's actually starting to annoy me. There we go. It's starting to offend me. You can see the technical preview is actually shown right there. They do actually give you. It's important to realise, just for your FYI, that they give you like a serial code. So that serial code is tied to your technical preview. I don't know the laws or the rules around that. So anyway, going to click on Task View, because I know many of you are probably going to be curious about this. I'm trying to fit as much stuff in as possible. Just click on that for a second. Actually, you know what? Let's load up a couple of things, including IE. Just go to, like, I don't know, google.com. I want to try and load up a few bits and pieces for you all. Internet Explorer, yeah, let's load another one, and we'll load... Oh, yeah, there you go. It's actually giving me suggestions. Awesome. Alright, hopefully that will load. Awesome, excellent. It's going to kind of get that a little bit bigger. There we go. Awesome. Right, now, we've got a couple of windows, which is fantastic, right? And you know what? I'm going to make a couple of tabs, actually. I'm going to go to... It's going to Google... Hello there, Mr. Kera. I don't know why, but yeah, okay, cool. And then we'll just go to google.com again. I'm just trying to show you basically an idea of these virtual desktop things, and I want to make things as obviously different as possible. Okay, right, so what are we doing? Aha, alright, so you can see this is pretty simplistic. So let's add a desktop. Okay, yep, okay, cool. Alright. You'll notice that this is completely and utterly different. Kind of cool, right? I think it's cool. Anyway, I don't know about you. That's not to say that you can't access the other one. You can mouse over it and it will pop up. So that will automatically switch you to that desktop. But, alright, let's go back to that. So, I don't actually know if there's a keyboard shortcut. There probably is. But I'm going to load up Internet Explorer. Actually, no, let's not load up Internet Explorer. Let's pretend on this view... Alright, let's go back to that. Alright, and let's pretend on this view that you just want that up. You can see, it's kind of cool, because you've got these multiple disk environments. In fact, you can have multiple. So, the reason I like this... Well, there's actually multiple reasons I like this, to be totally honest. Let's just load that up. Is that you can effectively better delegate, and this for multitask cores, such as myself, is really kind of handy. Let's see what we can do. Right, okay, we can't right-click on them, but we can say X out, and then what happens? Alright, see, it doesn't actually close the windows. So there is some interesting features for this. So we can close all, for example. Yes, close all the tabs, windows. You're not loved. There we go. So add a desktop. Now we've got two desktops appeared. We can add a third, a fourth, whatever. Okay. Load that in the background of that one. Go to that. That obviously disappears. Click Start. Let's just click on PC settings. That'll appear at the top. Blah blah blah. Then we can click back on here and then go back. You can get an idea. I'm not, I think you're probably understanding how that works by now. I think for me personally, this is a feature that is definitely worth it. Because I've got to say, my taskbar and my windows are enough to make people's eyes bleed at times when I'm doing research. I am that person that has like 1 billion windows open, either Firefox, and I've got usually Firefox, Chrome, Photoshop, audio editing applications, and research notes, particularly if I'm trying to do a tech video. And it's even worse if I'm trying to do a graphics comparison. Actually, no, I don't know about worse, but it's pretty much up there. So, yeah. Pretty much what I'm telling you is that I really like this. Now, obviously, you've got all the regular download folders and videos. Okay, there's nothing in there as a whole, which is kind of cool. We have got Microsoft's OneDrive as well, but who cares about that, right? So I actually quite like that stuff. I've got to say. So safely move hardware, files up to date. Okay, so it has been backing up stuff despite the fact that I've told it not to. So open audio mixer, standard stuff. It's actually detecting headphones, which is fairly interesting. Date and time, exactly the same. So What do I think of this application? It's actually quite weird because if you press Windows and Tab, you can see that it actually does pop up these virtual desktops, which, oh, and by the way, if you just kind of tab, you can kind of switch between them, which is a bit weird. Yeah, let's just close some of those because I think that's probably going a little overkill, even for me. So, I actually quite like that, because you can actually Alt and Tab between the two different desktop views anyway. But it's a little weird. I remember back in when was it? Windows Vista, I think it was, with the Windows tab where it would pop up like the tiling menu. I quite like that, if I'm totally honest. Now, obviously, stability-wise, I at the moment haven't had any issues. I haven't tried it with gaming, and that's probably something I'll actually probably do at some point when I can. I'm probably just going to install it to a spare hard drive. I've got one lying literally on the shelf behind me, so I'll probably just go ahead and do that. But I'm not... I wouldn't be surprised if there are problems. Now, as I've said, this is a technical preview that's more focused on Let's actually have a quick look, see what we can do to the start menu. So, alright. Right-click. Alright, so we can right-click to get these options. Pretty simple. Alright, let's go to... command prompt. Alright. Let's just see what we can do with command prompt. Alright, so can we... cd... Alright, now, oh god, it's going to be one of those days. Alright, so basic command prompts, of course, work. Yep. I wonder if we can copy and paste. Alright, let's see. I did hear something about command prompt copying. Let's see, can we go to... good old notepad. Right. Mash that button, don't you know? It does. That's actually quite nice. If you right click, however, I don't know how you'd cut. I'm guessing. Aha! Oh, wow! We even have control on backspace. I'm almost positive that didn't work. I'm probably going to get absolutely destroyed in the comments for that. But I've to be fair, I've never tried control and backspace. So can we actually... because that... does it actually do the full path? Okay, we've got up and down. Alright, oh, that's fine. Yes, quite. Wow, that just makes life so much easier as a network or an administrator, doesn't it? Holy crap, that actually pleases me. That's such a small little thing. But it's great to see command prompt actually has copy and paste. I know so many people in the IT industry are going to be so happy about that. It's actually quite ridiculous, to be honest. It hasn't been in right until now. But regardless, it's in, and we can be happy. We can dance, and we can play on the streets with joy. Well, maybe not quite that dramatic, but it's pretty awesome in my personal opinion. We've got all apps. Just going to quickly scroll down them. Not anything exactly what I'd consider to be super duper impressive. You can right click uninstall from the actual menu, which is quite nice, however. It would be quite nice if you didn't have to worry about doing that, because some of them, when I was going through it, like, I don't give a crap about some of these. I don't give a crap, for example, about the sports and even the mail, to be honest, but I don't know if we can kind of uninstall that. So, right, let's just pick on this one for a second. Can we uninstall that? Yes, uninstall. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Alright, fair enough. That makes life a little bit easier, doesn't it? Speaking of uninstall, let's kind of finish off by taking a look at the ribbon bars and stuff. Navigation planes, that type of thing. So, manage... format cleanup, pretty similar. View icons, share, all of that crap, that's pretty similar. File, you can actually open command menu from file. That's interesting. I wonder. And PowerShell. I'm guessing this is because it's a technical preview, and this is more for power users, basically for enterprises, so I'm probably going to guess that is not going to be in the standard. You can also delete recent recent history. So if you've got like a porn drive that you want to kind of hide, or it's a folder within a folder within a folder within a folder within a folder with porn in it, then you can do that if you so desire, which is quite nice. I wonder if we can right-click. Show quick access bar below the tool ribbon. Oh, look at that! Isn't that fancy? Fancy, 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 fancy. Okay, I'm getting far too enamored by very basic features that should have actually been here since the beginning of time, if I'm totally honest. I mean, some of this stuff, it's like, even in Windows XP, and then when Windows Vista and all of these come out, every time it came out, I was just like, why isn't it supported multiple desktops, and why doesn't it support multiple copies and pastes? I just never understood that. I realised that, you know, the clipboards can kind of balloon, but it doesn't make sense. It can't have at least a couple of copy and pastes. That does kind of bug me. But yeah. So as I said, this has been a pretty basic look, if I'm totally honest. It's not like the most in-depth, but I will be doing a more in-depth analysis at this. I just wanted to kind of show it off. Actually, let's see, there was something else I wanted to show off, and I don't remember what it was. See, I thought Charms, he says. Yes, Charms is showing up here. Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be doing it here. So I don't know if I'm failing at that, or if it's because I am indeed running... Nope. Interesting, you can peek at the desktop, just like always. So I don't know if it's because I'm missing the charms, or if it's because I am not doing it correctly. So I'm unsure about that one. Regardless, is there anything else that I should probably take a look at? I'm just trying to think. Let's have a quick look at control panel, just to make sure there's no like new hidden options or whatever. Default programs. Actually quite nice that that's popping up as a standard. Control panel, network features, hardware, programs, ease of access. That's pretty similar. Of course, got different views of that. Not anything amazing there. Network, which I won't show for obvious reasons. Actually, what happens if you right-click? You might be able to right. Alright, not anything useful. I was hoping it was going to show something else, like a show of my home network, so I could probably show something, but it's not picking it up. It's possibly something to do with the IPs on VirtualBox. I'll resolve that at some point. Anyway, yeah, so there's not anything ridiculously amazing right now. I think I've shown off pretty much all of the stuff that I wanted to. I will show off Task Manager as well, because I forgot to do that. And Task, very similar to Windows 7 and 8. You've got, it's only showing I've got one thread because, well, that's all I've allowed it to do that. So you've actually got resource monitor. I'm guessing some of this you might not want to get too excited about. I don't, obviously they're going to change some of the stuff before it gets launched, so I'm just showing you some of this crap. Stop monitoring and monitor certain services. Great for, of course, if you're trying to fault test or if something is causing issues. Application history, startup, if you so wish. Right. Performance, blah blah blah. Right, let's see. Oh, actually, let's go start run. Start run, not start an A. Let's go with ms config. Exactly the same. Well, what other stuff could we check out? Services.msc. There we are. Thank you very much. Pretty much exactly the same. Most of the basic, like, going under the hood services, as far as I can tell, are pretty much identical. It's primarily, at the moment, the basics of, like, when you're logging in is extremely difficult, different. I'll show that at some point very soon. Most likely when I'm showing the installation process. Obviously, task view is now in. Start menu works extremely well, I have to say. I'm incredibly happy with that. in comparison to the terribleness that it was Windows 8, my personal opinion anyway, I hated the Windows 8. You'll also notice that the Windows 10 symbols, and this actually is, even when it's loading up, it's pretty much exactly the same splash screen as Windows 8. I don't know if they're going to change that. It doesn't actually say Windows 10 as it's loading. It'll actually just say, like, this is Windows. It'll just come up with the standard icon, which is that. I don't know as well. I'm guessing that's probably to do with VirtualBox, because sometimes it goes a little hinky. Like when it does that, I'm guessing it's something to do with GPU acceleration. But it's not particularly a massive big deal, anywho. So yeah, I think that's just about all I wanted to show. This has been a quickie to show the very basics, and some of the old and some of the new features. It's certainly not a comprehensive list, but I didn't want to make the video like an hour long, so I wanted to kind of go into some of the cool stuff like the virtual desktops, show off the start menu, show off the basic navigation, how bloody similar it is at the moment, and just the general gist of what they're doing with it, really. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. As I said, we'll be throwing out more on this, including by more in-depth analysis of it, as and when I can. But for now, I think that's just about it. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.